Welcome to RezoBiz, episode 15 of the HotRod series, and also the last of the HotRod series. This episode could be on the small things. It takes a lot of little things to make the big picture. And that we've done a lot of little things, but now it really tightens up and it really gets very detailed. And so we have all our hardware that we got to put on, and we have a lot of time and setup and stuff that's got to be done. So stick with this, watch, and then you'll get to listen also. I'm excited about this one. I'm Byrl with Byrl Guitars, and welcome to RezoBiz, where everything is greater with a resonator. Okay, everything's kind of chaos on the old workbench. Setup is for me, messy business. So we've got the tuners in, and got the nut on there nice and snug. Fretboards got edge beveled a little bit and re-dyed. I had to do a little bit of work adjusting this thing, the label, and getting the Byrl logo dyed in there real good and scraped off. Well, I kind of overfill it and I scrape it off flush. Then we got this, I'm trying to poinsettia, I think is the cover plate, spinning, swirling, saw bladey looking thing. I love this cover plate from Byrl. But because the swirl lines and all that, the only really straight flat piece is right here for figuring what's straight and all that. So what I've done, let's see it, I've taken my long ruler and I got up there on my frets dots and got right in the center, come right down the middle of the fretboard, and went off and actually made a line with tape back here, because I have you can't see the joint, I have no center line reference hardly. So I did, when I put the neck, when I aligned the neck, you could see because remember it was raw wood, and you could see the book matched center line, and so that's how I lined the neck up when I set it. So now when it slips on and tightens down, it's straight, just that's the way it goes. So I'm using this as a reference, went straight down to this point, and then I taped off between these holes on this cover plate and then measured between the two. So there's my center and there's my center, and then I lined it up with the center line that goes down the whole thing. There's a little look at it, getting closer. Looking pretty neat. The cover plate's all Well, we've done a lot of work getting this guitar together. Had fun painting it. Now we're down to just the real tiniest details. And this is where, that you're close. You want to get it done. You want to play it. But you've really got to force yourself to slow down and take the time to do these little things just right. It's the little things that make the difference. In fact, it's the little things that we often, it's not that big a deal, but they make such a huge difference. And there's a great skill in being able to do the little things that not many people have really mastered that. It's even in life, our everyday life. The little things make a big difference. The little little way things that you do for your wife, little things you do for your kids. It seems like a little thing to be consistent, but it's hard. It's to do those little things, and it's hard to be a master at the little things of a dobro. When I was painting cars, it was all the restoration and the putting these things together, customizing them, ground effects on the cars, and doing fancy paint jobs on them. And I remember one particular one, the guy couldn't afford for me to color sand, or what we old term for lacquer days, color sanding the car down, taking the texture out and making it flat. He couldn't afford for me to do that and then buff it to a shine. So we just got as clean a finish as we could, and smooth and slick. And he took it to the shows and he did okay. He won some awards. The next year he came in and paid me to color sand the whole car down and buff it. All the artwork's done, all the ground effects are done, all the customization is done on this car, and only difference that we did was just color sand and buff it. It was just the detail part. He went back to the shows that year and won nearly every show. It was just, he couldn't believe it. It was just that little taking out the texture in the paint that made the difference. And it's that way with the Dobros, it's that way with racing on race cars. It's all the little things, polishing the ports on your carburetor or intakes, fuel injection, or whatever. But it's all these little tiny things that make the difference. And that's where we're at with this, getting these slots just right. And I'm still learning a lot, and learned a lot. I remember trying to explain some of this over the phone to a customer one time, and it hit me, wow, there's a lot I've learned, a lot more goes into it. I would say if you have a dobro and not quite getting the sound you want out of it, one you buy in a store, dobro brand or whatever, you'd be amazed at the difference. Even a fairly generic guitar, you'd be amazed at the difference if you would send it to somebody who sets them up and knows what they're doing. They can really make them sound a lot different. It's just that little bit of difference in these things that makes the difference. Some guys that's all they do. One guy in particular, Bobby Wright, and may have heard of him. If you play dobros, know much about dobros, he is a master setup guy. And I think what really makes him specifically unique to it is he doesn't build guitars. He just has a love for playing them and tweaking them and messing with them. And he's been doing it since he started playing. And he is supremely good at setup. You got other guys out there, Beard, and anybody that I think builds a guitar. You find them, and they'll do a good setup for you. I'm going to do a list pretty soon after we get this series done of locations of people that are dobro setup guys. But if you're just like to tinker on your dobro kind of thing, or you're not real familiar with it at all, you want something, a nice setup on it, you got to go to one of these guys and get them to do it, because the setup is I just can't say enough about the setup. It's so I don't know, involved, and there's so many little tiny things that make a difference. And when you get enough of the little things together and you get them right, it's amazing. It's amazing the difference. And I'm still learning. I'm still figuring things out. There's just so much to it. But I enjoy this part of it. I want to get it done, but the fine detail and thinking and getting everything just right, this is the fun part. It takes time though. Definitely takes time. It takes doing it. I'm still learning it. I'm still getting the feel for it, and learning when you hear a sound that you don't like, how to tweak it, if it's on this end or that end or where it's coming from. And the dobro's got all these metal parts, and knowing how to manipulate all the different parts to get certain tones. It's an art. It is an absolute art, and it's an endless amount, it seems like, learning and figuring things out with it. But it is fun. But that's where we're at with this right now. We're getting close, but we're not quite there. All right. I've had sounds a little bit as I put the strings on, tapped it and this and that, but I have not hit the note. It's not tuned, it's not anything. But this is the first note. This thing was a tree out in the woods. It fell over. I cut a chunk of it out, saved it from being firewood, put it on the mill. You've watched me cut it up. We built this thing together. Now this thing's getting ready to sing for the first time. That fascinates me. Now I'll bring it to full tune because I'm still moving the strings. In fact, I gotta back it off a little bit anyhow. Because I want it tight so the strings will lay down in the slots, but I'm still cutting the string slots and getting them just right. I gotta level them all out now. But that was the first notes. May not sound like a whole lot or real special, but to me, it's a big deal. Usually I can tell too, just by things that I hear in it when I first start tuning it up. I'll hear whether it's going to be a special one, and on that second one I hear something special in that. Very resonant. It's going to be interesting. Big old F holes in it, and sound forward hole. It really lets the sound come out of it. Fun. Alright, back to filing. Alright, I broke a string, so when I was doing the cutting the slots, and I keep saying fret slots and these string slots. But I had them a little bit too tight. The strings were too tight, and then I pulled them off the saddles to lower the saddle a little bit. And I think I overstretched it or something. Anyhow, when I brought it up to almost G, the string flew across the room. So I was tuning it, and then of course I'm sitting there looking at it thinking, I'm like, oh, I should have recorded that. And I thought, oh, I need to record tuning it up. And so I've already heard a little bit of it as it's got all its tension. I had to adjust the set screw a little bit on the tensioning screw right here. It was a little in a bind and stuff. I got that straightened out. I already started tuning it up, and I like what I hear. Kind of excited. Get this string on here, bring this one up to tune, and then we'll see what it sounds like. I don't know what you're going to hear for sure, but I'm used to hearing these guitars as I bring them up to tune, and what they sound like when I just hit the first notes on them, and I really am putting it all the way it's really going to sound by tuning it, and you get a feel for what kind of guitar it's going to be in its life. And it's like a little child. You see little character traits and you think, oh, that's good, or oh, that's not so good. I'm already hearing things in this I like. That I like right there. Of course, it's going to sound different. I don't have the cover plate on it, and so that's going to change a little bit. But it's not going to change what I'm hearing there. I don't know if you can tell, but it's loud. I mean, it's just that part I expect. thing's just ringing out. That means I gotta work on that one. I hear a pop, like a pow. I hear that. That's a good sound there. I also seem like it's got more in it. It's being held back. Have my hand down on it. Alright, I'm gonna quit messing around and get this thing. I'm gonna mess with it a little bit, play with these, I don't know, maybe I need to let it set in a little bit. Alright, so there you have it. Hot Rod series. It was a tree out in the woods. We cut her loose, drug it out with a four-wheeler, drug it up to the mill, stuck it on there, cut it out, dried it, and now we have, after a few months of building, we have this Hot Rod series guitar. First matte finish, matte finish on the Hot Rod series that I'd done. But it just seemed to, in fact I was thinking gloss. I think I might have mentioned a gloss at one point, but I changed it towards the end. I just was liking the sealer gave it a satin finish, and I just thought, you know what, I'm going to go with that. I put the cover plate on there. I had looked at it, kind of comparing them, and I thought that's just the way I need to go with this one. And so that's what we got here. But some of the features, it's obviously it's not the Lotus cover plate that I normally get. It's that, I think it's called a poinsettia, but it looks like saw blades to me or something, but that goes on all my Hot Rods. Then I did a raised Byrl logo, and I did it in ebony, and then it's got inlaid, it's engraved, but then we painted inside there red. Then obviously it's got the flames. It's got these hip shot tuners with the open back, and I really like the look that put on there. I'm thrilled with that. And of course they have the sound forward hole, and I put smoke coming out of that. And we did that in craft, and you can barely see the flame in that. You probably could see it in the sun, but for the most part it doesn't really have a center line or anything that you can see. And then the big old F holes, and it just makes that sound just thunder out of it. It's a nice loud guitar, and it has a good tone. Alright, well, if you'd like to play it, if this is before September, I think it's the 28th and 29th and 30th, the 43rd and the 72nd, I think. I don't know, it's the last Friday and Saturday of September 2019. If you can make it there to play it, you're more than welcome to play it, and then it will be auctioned off starting at $800. This guitar, if it was to ask me to build it, is a $4,500 guitar. You can check my website, so it's around that price somewhere. HotRod series are up there in the $4,000 range, but we'll be starting for just the cost pretty much of hardware, the case, to build this guitar. And then whatever people want to bid beyond that, that's what it'll go for. So if you're interested, I mean, this thing would be a good just conversational piece in a living room. If you got a hot rod shop, hang that thing on the wall. You'd have to put it on a turntable or something, and put it out there with your hot rod. That'd fit in just fine. And if you're a hot rod builder and a player, this is your guitar right here. Alright, well, if you've been watching from episode 1 to episode 15, I hope you've enjoyed it. I have enjoyed building this guitar, and I have enjoyed playing it and getting to see it, and it's been a fun journey. It's been exciting, and this is my first black one. It's been the first one I haven't done without the binding on it. And then Hot Rod series, the first matte one. There's a lot of firsts in it. I raised the logo on it, which I normally don't do, and I put a black ebony one in there, which is different too. This thing turned out cool. It does look like a hot rod. It looks like it. The guy who plays it should be smoking fast player. This wouldn't be for me. I'm not a smoking fast hot rod player, but there are those out there, and you don't have to be a hot rod player. You might just enjoy a hot rod look, but fun. So this ends the Hot Rod series. I want to start up small series, some how-tos and some where-tos. Coming up pretty soon will be where to find a good setup guy. I want to do that because cost of shipping your guitar is expensive. So if you're close to a guy, shipping it might be cheaper, or just driving there might be cheaper. So I'm going to do that one. And then also coming up, I'm going to float down the river and look for a log, drag it out of the river, or off the river bank, and cut it up and see what we can find in it. And if we find something special, I want to build a sunken log, river log. So I got that episodes. Those will be episodes coming up. Looking forward to that. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, subscribe and hit the like button, and stay tuned for more episodes.